commissioners to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Egan, would you like to start us off?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will the clerk please take roll call attendance?
Commissioner Egan.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Martin.
Yes.
Commissioner McLean.
Here.
And Chairman Shackleton.
I am here also, so we have everybody present and accounted for. Next item is the approval of county board minutes, regular board meeting on March 9th, 2015. It is on page 1.
I move approval of the minutes as presented. Support.
Motion is made and supported that those minutes be approved. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. Correspondence received in the clerk's office is on page 5. I'm sure we have our usual variety of correspondence.
I'd move we acknowledge the reception, or receiving the items in the clerk's office and forward to them to the appropriate committees.
Okay. Anybody want to support that?
Support.
Motion is made and supported that correspondence received in the clerk's office be acknowledged and forwarded as appropriate. Is there discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. We move to public comment. Is there any person in the public today who would like to address the county commission? This is your opportunity. Public comment? Anybody? Last call for public comment. I declare the public comment period to be closed. We move to the administrator's report. Administrator German.
You'll find the Department of Veterans Affairs, War Memorial Hospital report, Sheriff's Department report, Public Defender, and Animal Control all listed in your packets. If after going over this, you have questions in the near future, please feel free to ask myself or Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we will move on. Under old business, we do not have anything itemized. So if they're seeing none, we'll move on to new business. New business A is resolution 2015-07. This is special recognition of Frank Sasso. Frank was on the OES 911 committee for 30 years-ish or more. And I was pleased to go out and present this to Mr. Sasso, and thanks for his service to the people of Chippewa County for serving on that committee, I believe, since the committee began. So we have that resolution in front of us.
I'd move approval of resolution 2015-07.
I'll support.
We have a motion made and supported to pass this resolution. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Egan.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Commissioner McLean.
Yes.
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. So that resolution passes. And we move to standing committee reports. Starting off with the committee that handles the subjects of building and grounds, jail, legislative, natural resources, information technology, and that would be Commissioner Johnson.
Our meeting was held on April 7th, 2015 at Chippewa County Courthouse in St. Marie, Michigan. Chairman Johnson called the meeting to order at 10 a.m. with the quorum present. Members present was Rudy Johnson, Don McLean. Members absent, Connor Egan. That will go on your permanent record.
Along with many others.
Permanent record, mister.
Others present was Craig Krebs from the DNR, Sharon Kennedy, Jim German, and Kelly Church. Additions and deletions to the agenda. Item 2 was added to the agenda. Agenda is general discussion. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the agenda as amended. On a voice vote, the motion carries. Agenda item, legislative and natural resources, Whitefish Township property sale to DNR. Craig Krebs, DNR Parks and Recreation Division, addressed the committee regarding the DNR proposed purchase of 80 acres known as Timber Lost Camp, which includes 1/4 mile of frontage on the Quamanon River. This parcel is one of the last private parcels of land inside the Quamanon Falls State Park. The equestration of this property is consistent with the department's managed lands and management strategy and would consolidate land ownership with the park and provide additional fishing, hunting, and recreational opportunities to the community and region. This purchase will not remove the property from the tax rolls, and taxes will be paid by the DNR. The proposed purchase has been previously approved by the Whitefish Township Board, and the DNR is asking for a letter of support from the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners. Discussion followed. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to recognize and approve a letter of support for the DNR to purchase the Timber Lost Camp property located in Whitefish Township, Town 48 North, Range 7 West, Section 15, and forward this request to the full board for consideration. On a voice vote, the motion carried. I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported that we send that letter to the DNR in support of the purchase. Is there any discussion of the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
And the next thing we had, we moved to finance. Agenda items, building and grounds, courthouse windows update. We just talked about that. There's a problem with the pricing cannot, pardon?
Oh, I'm sorry, the clerk just pointed out that I accidentally passed over additions and deletions to the agenda at the very beginning of the meeting.
Oh,
We didn't have any additions or deletions, did we?
I
think-
moved approval as presented, so,
I think you did.
yes.
Okay, so we just skipped over additions and deletions, or we're good, all right. That's fine, thank you. Usually I ask for if there's any additions or deletions, and I think perhaps I just passed over it. But
You asked and I went right to approval.
there you go. We're good. Sorry for the interruption, Commissioner Johnson, go right ahead.
okay, there's a problem with, contractors, that the pricing cannot be met. They're gonna do a walkthrough on April 16th, and there will be further action on this. The tunnel, the committee discussed, water issues, talked about humidifiers, drainage, flooring, information including quotes are going to be, looked for waterproofing, maybe, radon testing results were back, were within the limits. General discussion, the committee had a general discussion on repair and, concepts of the two buildings with the roofing systems being discussed. Committee and chairman's comments, none. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, second by Commissioner Johnson, to adjourn the meeting on a voice vote. The motion was carried. Chairman Johnson declared the meeting adjourned at 11:20 a.m. I would move for the acceptance of my report.
Support.
Oh, motion made and supported. Sorry. I was waiting for another support. Did we skip over the road commission issue, or?
That was moved to finance.
Finance.
We're moving to finance.
Okay, thank you. Then we have a motion before us. Is there any discussion on that motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. All right, get it together here. Standing committee report, item B is personnel equalization transportation and health and social services. That is Commissioner Egan.
A regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Personnel Equalization, Apportionment, Transportation, Health, and Social Service Committees was held on Wednesday, April 8th, 2015 at the Chippewa County Courthouse in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Chairman Egan called the meeting to order at 3:05 p.m. with a quorum present. Members present, Connor Egan, Scott Shackleton, Rudy Johnson. Members absent, none. Others present, Jim German, County Administrator, Commissioner Martin, Tim McKee, Sharon Kennedy, Kathy Lout, and Kelly Church. Additions and deletions to the agenda, we had none. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the agenda as presented. On a voice vote, the motion carried. There was no public comment. The agenda items included personnel items, the prosecutor. The committee reviewed a temporary replacement request for the prosecutor's office for a legal secretary position during a short-term disability leave maternity. It is a grade level 7 position, and the county policy number 215 will be followed. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the prosecutor's request for a temporary replacement of staff during short-term disability for grade 7 legal secretary position, and to follow county policy 215. On a voice vote, the motion carried. The Sheriff's Department. The committee reviewed personnel changes as follows.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yeah,
We,
we need to vote on this.
motion.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. So,
Move
on the
fast.
prosecutor position, can you make a motion on that?
I'll make the motion. Also move.
I'll support.
And so we have a motion made and supported to approve that. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries.
On to the Sheriff's Department. The committee reviewed personnel changes as follows. Richard McBride, retirement effective 4/30/2015. Jeremy Daniels, resignation effective 3/20/2015. Gentile Apps, full-time effective 3/29/2015, replacing Daniels. Jeff Perry, full-time effective 5/1/2015, replacing McBride. Jake Robinson, part-time up to 79 hours effective 3/29/2015. Sarah Pitawan, I'm gonna butcher this, I'm sorry. Part-time up to 79 hours effective 5/1/2015. Officers Robinson and Pitawana Kawat will be offered single coverage health insurance upon passing their 90-day anniversary. They will be responsible for 20% copay of premiums. It was moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to accept Richard McBride's retirement, Jeremy Daniels' resignation, Chantilly Apps and Jeff Perry going full-time status, and Jake Robinson and Sarah P. to part-time status, working up to 79 hours on the dates reflected above. On a voice vote, the motion carried. I so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries.
On to central dispatch. The committee was updated on central dispatch personnel, which includes the resignation of Anna Allen, full-time replacement Brandon Horstman, and the need to approve one part-time dispatcher to the up to 79 hours position. The 79 hours position will be offered single health coverage upon completion of 90 days. With these changes, Central Dispatch will not be holding any open full-time positions. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to accept the retirement of Anna Allen and to move Brandon Horstman to full-time effective 3/30/2015. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I so move.
Support.
Resignation, correct, sir?
I've got an amended.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll support that.
I think we got support over here already, so motion made and supported. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries.
On to equalization items, 2015 county equalized values. Equalization Director Kennedy and appraiser Kathy Laut reviewed the process of arriving at an equalized values, including land value, economic condition factor, 34 appraisal, and 15 sales studies. The assessor and board's review function in the process, and ultimately the role of county and state is to establish equalized value. Kennedy went on to present the 2015 county equalized values. The total 2015 equalized value of the county is, wow,
$1 billion.
$1,331,027,604. You can see on page 1 for the equalization report. She explained that the values presented on the report are the basis for completing the state required forms, which must be completed and sent to state before the end of April. The equalization process and the valuations presented were discussed in detail. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Johnson, that the equalized values as presented by Equalization Director Kennedy be adopted as reported, and that all state required forms regarding same be completed and filed as required by statute. On a voice vote, the motion was carried, and I so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Tentative 2015 tentative taxable values. Truth in taxation public hearing, summer tax roll processing, and required studies. As an informational item, Equalization Director Kennedy also presented the tentative 2015 tentative taxable values and explained the capped value formula as it relates to taxable values. It was explained that the county's projected tentative taxable value is $1,094,640,978, which is projected to increase of $8,029,410. The final taxable values for the county will be calculated in May after preliminary state equalization occurs and after school operating exemption information has been provided by the local assessors. Once these taxable values are finalized, all of the Headley calculations will be made by the director and the county's operating millage. After a truth in taxation public hearing is held, will be determined by the county board. The 2015 tentative DNR PILT taxable values, page 13, show an increase of $268,890 over the 2014 values. It is noted that the DNR PILT property pay taxes at the same rate as other qualified agricultural properties. Director Kennedy reviewed the process of establishing the county's operating millage rate, the timetable involved, and the necessity of holding a truth in taxation public hearing at the June 8th meeting of the County Board of Commissioners. Director Kennedy reviewed the schedule for calculating final taxable values, Headley fractions, millage rates, and processing tax rolls, the steps necessary to accomplish the tasks ahead. It was moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, that the information presented be accepted into the minutes at the Truth in Taxation public hearing be scheduled for June 8, 2015 meeting of the County Board, and that Director Kennedy, as soon as the necessary data is certified and compiled, submit the pertinent information to the Administrator's Office and the Board so that the hearing may proceed within the deadlines established by law. On a voice vote, that motion was carried, and I so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion?
I have one quick, and I don't know if we can do this. Could we also have a report? We discussed about the big box stores and how that process is going through the judicial branch. Could we have an update on that of
Yeah.
where things are going?
Are you thinking right now or just later?
At that June meeting.
Oh, at June meeting.
At that June meeting.
We can, we can ask Sharon to address that in our comments, and she'll be here.
Yeah, because she seemed to be very much up to date on that. And
Sharon is a very smart and knows all this stuff inside and out. She does a great job for us. In any case, yes, we'll ask her to come forward and just present that information. We still have a motion before us. Is there any further comment or discussion? Commissioner?
At the MAC meeting that I attended about a week and a half ago, there was a lengthy presentation relative to money for counties and how we get our money and this type of thing. And they went back into a history of it and the battle between the state and the counties as far as funding. And one of the things that came out of that, the conclusion drawn was that eventually we're going to have to do something about the Headley override and Proposal A that were passed numbers of years ago. and how they affected the money that comes to town or counties to support the programs that we have. And I guess it was the first time I've heard anything about the idea of actually trying to get the Headley amendment amended or some changes made in that, and that was good news, because we are running against it. As you know, our budget this year was supposed to be balanced with a little surplus, and that surplus has already disappeared. But looking down the road, the long range idea is that the counties are going to have to MAC, the organization, Michigan Association of Counties, is going to have to step to the forefront in putting together some kind of a movement to get some changes made in that, because it just keeps choking us off, and it's going to get worse. It isn't getting better. It's never gotten better. So,
Any change that's to be made would have to be put to a public vote,
yes.
because that's how it was originally put into law. So what you're gonna do is ask the public, say, do you mind if we start increasing faster than the rate of inflation?
Yeah, there's some things in the Headley amendment that are seen as valuable. There's the cap on property tax for homestead that can only go up so much of the cost of living, but there are some other provisions that are in there that have been interpreted since then that didn't actually do what they were supposed to do.
So there's some precedent from other counties on how to handle this and.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not just, from me, it was a presentation made there and a conclusion drawn by people that put a lot of time into looking at the situation.
Interesting. Okay, well, we still have a motion before us. Seeing if there's no further discussion, all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries.
Other items of concern, Equalization Director Kennedy explained that beginning with 2011, the continuing education requirements for certified personnel has increased to 30 hours in a 3-year period, in addition to specific annual mandatory class requirements. And while she did not have a schedule for those trainings yet, when the trainings are known to staff, it will be scheduled for those trainings as well as others throughout the year, as she determines it is necessary and relevant to department functions. It was moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, that should the need arise and in the discretion of the Equalization Director, in order to accommodate attendance at continuing education classes with advance notification of administration, the office may be closed during those periods. On a voice vote, the motion was carried, and I so move.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries.
There were no committee comments. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton and seconded by Commissioner Johnson to adjourn the meeting. On a voice vote, the motion carried. Chairperson Egan declared the meeting adjourned at 4:30 p.m.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. You
I'm
need
sorry.
to make a motion that
Oh.
the minutes be accepted, please.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
When we were going through the
Okay,
items on the
Commissioner
second
McLean,
page.
just a moment, please. I wanted to get a second first on the
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry.
I'll support.
Anybody want to support it? Did you support it, Commissioner?
Yes.
Rudy? Okay. So the motion is made and supported that the minutes be accepted as presented. Now, Mr. McLean.
I'm sorry.
Quite all
I
right.
get anxious about getting everything done on time. On the second page, there was a portion underneath was the motion at the very top of the page. There was a second motion or order of business. Did we take care of that? You see where I'm speaking of?
I'm looking.
We did, the one that,
The commissioner, the 9-hour limit
yeah, the
for
second part
Christopher
of,
Huntley. I believe I did skip
Did you?
that.
I-
Thank you,
Did we
Commissioner
skip that
McLean.
one? Oh, wow.
So,
had you done that or did?
no, I
Okay.
absolutely skipped it. So
Wow, that's pretty bad that, okay.
So
We have not
withdraw.
yet accepted the minutes, so if you'd care to just, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna declare the original motion to accept the minutes, to be dead, and we're gonna move back and let you, do a redo and include that portion.
under Central Dispatch, it was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the request to move Christopher Huntley to a part-time position over the 29-hour limit, and to be offered single health coverage upon 90-day completion with a 20% copay by the employee. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I so move.
And I would second that.
Alright. So we have a motion made and supported, and now that I read it, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when he did that, I thought, wait a minute, did I miss it? He must have put those two together, so. In any case, we have the motion before us, is there any further discussion on it? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote
Aye.
nay. Now if we can just return to a motion to support the, minutes as presented.
And I move to support the minutes as presented.
I'll support that.
Motion made and supported. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. All right, we got through that. Move on to.
Well, we did.
You're still clicking along pretty good.
Yeah.
Finance, claims, and accounts, Commissioner Martin.
A regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Finance Claims and Account Committee was held on Thursday, April 9th, 2015 at Chippewa County Courthouse, Sault Ste. Marie. I called the meeting to order at 5:35 p.m. with a quorum present. Members present, myself, Commissioner Shackleton, Commissioner McLean, Commissioner Johnson, and Commissioner Egan. There were no members absent. Others present were Surveyor Bill Carr, Detective Greg Postma, Jim German, and Kelly Church. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the agenda as presented on a voice vote. The motion carried.
And you can just
And-
go
And I'll
on.
support.
And you can just go on from there.
Okay. There was no public comment offered. Correspondence and information items. We received a monthly travel report, March visa billing statement, new MERS statement, and tabulation of the Commissioner's goals for review. Discussion on the goals and additional goal of security, including staffed metal detectors, was discussed at length. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Egan, to accept the tabulated results of the goals listing and building security and refer to the listing for future considerations. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Agenda items, 2015 County Survey and Remonumentation. Committee reviewed a 2015 Survey and Remonumentation grant of the amount of $133,798, of which the county's budgeted $15,000. Documentation includes 19,478 for the program administrator, 37,800 for Rogers Land Surveying to complete 27 corners, 85,400 for Northwoods. An agreement for peer review surveys to receive $800 per year as follows: Jeff Davis, Neil Hill, Eric Lewicki, Larry Rogers, Keith Waters, and Lawrence Weinreis. All the documents need to be approved and authorized for signature by the committee. Mr. Carr reviewed the state requirements, discussed original surveys that date back to the 1840s. He did so at length and in very great detail. And now we're going to put latitude and longitude with those corners, as well as information that can be shared with regional planning for the GIS parcel mapping. After the presentation, it was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve and authorize the signatures on the 2015 Survey and Remonumentation Grant for $133,798. A program administrator contract in the amount of $19,478 for Northwoods, a SIDOC company. 2 monumentation contracts, one for $37,800 for 27 corners to Rogers Land Surveying, and another $85,400 for 61 corners to Northwoods, a SIDOC company. The peer review surveyor agreement at $800 per year for the following surveyors: Jeff David, Neil Hill, Eric Lewicki, Larry Rogers, Keith Waters, and Lawrence Weinreis, and to provide GIS parcel mapping information to regional planning. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Photocopy machine for probate circuit office and friend of the court. Bid summary. Committee received and reviewed bid summaries for the purchase and trade in 2 photocopiers to be placed in the family circuit court, basement office, and the front of the court. The purchase followed the county's replacement plan. Bids for Sioux Printing did not meet bid specs, and the committee discussed the different options from National Office Products and based the copy volume and county's replacement schedule and chose to go with the Konica Minolta BizHub 364E copier printer scanner fax. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the bid from National Office Products to purchase 2 Konica Minolta BizHub 364E copier printer scanner faxes for the purchase price and 1-year maintenance at $8,456, with the maintenance to be budgeted by the departments after the first year. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported that we buy those copiers. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee received and reviewed bid summaries for the purchase of 2 patrol vehicles. 3 bids were received and all met bid specs. Discussion regarding front wheel versus rear wheel drive and concerns about safety of the officers and the monetary position of being able to swap out all equipment from car to car, like the cages. Size of the interior of the midsize vehicle also was noted, and a discussion followed. After that discussion, it was moved by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to rebid the patrol vehicles statewide and specify Dodge Charger full-size rear-wheel drive due to the training aspect and monetary value of being able to swap equipment out between vehicles. On a voice vote, the motion carried. And I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion? Commissioner McLean.
I've given this a lot of thought over the weekend, and I'm thinking that when we do this next year, because we do it every 2 years, that we should ask all bids to include patrol cars that are completely outfitted. Okay, we would get those bids in, then provide them to the sheriff's department and say, okay, how much money can be shared or can be saved by swapping out equipment? Okay, that way we would be comparing apples and apples and not get into this dilemma, because this dilemma is not new. We run into this quite often, not every year, but quite often when we get to this stage. And I think that we have local automobile firms that go through the trouble of bidding, and we run into a snag at the last minute. And I think that if we say that to them, we have to be able to justify it. Right now, it's all a little bit fuzzy and we're confused. And I think, okay, let's say, okay, Ford, give us your patrol car that meets the specs with all the equipment in it that they're all gonna have. Chrysler and GMC. Then it would be up to the sheriff to say, okay, if I get a Dodge or a Chrysler, whatever product, that I can move this from here to here and save us money off the total price. Because then we can I have a little indigestion over this, and it's just not a good thing. And I would say that would be the process that I'd like to see followed next year when we do this.
Yeah, I'll echo that. This has been bothering me too. It's something that I've had trouble with, especially laying down at night. It is very, very important that we compare apples to apples. And yes, we are taking the officer's safety and their comfort into concern, but at the same time, we need to be able to compare these on paper all in the same column instead of saying, well, you know, these are all great except, you know, we have a huge savings over here with the Chryslers, because at some point Chrysler's gonna switch and, you know, there isn't gonna be this conundrum that we have now, and we need to, you know, move along like it's not part of the process.
I would also agree, because they talked, when you came in, they talked about, the detective talked about the fact that, well, sometimes the cage has already been switched out 4 times. So the cage is past its useful life, in which case, then we're not saving money on switching equipment out. And with what Commissioner McLean is saying, that's going to allow, okay, yes, we're gonna switch this puppy out, and that's gonna save us $600 to $800 to $1,000, or, well, we've switched it out 4 times, even if we buy the Chrysler, we're not going to be able to switch it out because it's past its useful life, or like you said, they change model size and stuff like that. There's all kinds of different things, but yeah, we want a level playing field. If they're making good faith bids, we certainly need to honor that. It sounds like some things got muddled. The other issue I had, and I'd sent an email out, but I did it late because I also did thinking at night, and then I emailed you guys at, I don't know, 6 this morning. But would it be possible to put like we did with the snowmobiles, put trade-in values with our cars, cause, you know, we're having trouble getting anything for the cars. In some years, we've gotten $1,500, $2,000 for those cars, and then last year, they were, you know, a working vehicle, 2 working vehicles were scrapped for $500. If, you know, if maybe we can get in that bid a good trade-in of $2,000 a vehicle or $1,000 a vehicle, that's gonna save us money and pay for some things too. And I don't know if that's possible, because my guess is if it was, you all would have done it in the past, if we could make that part of our bid process.
We can certainly ask the sheriff's department to investigate that when it comes up next time. I just want to point out one thing though, that when we're talking about comparing apples to apples, the problem is that the Apple that came in the cheaper was a mid-size front-wheel drive vehicle, and the sheriff's department is trained, comfortable, and ready to use a full-size rear-wheel drive vehicle. So the cars were not apples to apples. They were, but that's what should have been in the bid specs. It should have said full-size rear-wheel drive. And usually, each car manufacturer only has, I believe, like one vehicle that they consider a police package. Is that correct? Sound right?
Normally, that's
Yeah.
correct.
It's usually one car that they will bid for a police package. And of course, it's a special right from the manufacturer to come out that way to meet police needs. So I think that was more the issue probably than interchanging the equipment. The equipment is an additional concern because of the potential savings, but the reality is the sheriff's department has been trained and there's some value in all the vehicles. All, for instance, having rear-wheel drive and not a few in front-wheel drive for when you're involved in a high-speed pursuit, so that the behavior of the vehicle is the same. And I think that's what we heard real clearly from the sheriff's department, and was the major basis for the concern in my perception. So, but again, when we go out next time, I think we've learned some things this time, and I think we'll do a better job of it. And I think the department's ready to tackle that. Commissioner Johnson.
Yeah, in response to Mr. Martin's thing on trade-in, I made a couple of calls, and I give the garage a make, model, and year, and the mileage, and they've been given anywhere between low end 5,000 for trade-in, as high as like the 90s area. So a $7,000 average on these vehicles they'd be trading in, with 140 to 50,000 miles is about what you usually have.
Well, the one we have now is well over 165,000.
Yeah, I told them,
I'm assuming it's not a police vehicle. Those miles are very hard miles. I would highly doubt you're gonna get anywhere near that in the trade-in, but more than 250 would definitely be helpful.
Yeah, it's at least worth looking
Yes.
at as,
Oh, yeah.
as an alternative.
well, they took in some from the, you know, they are worth more than what we're getting, cause they took in 7 or 8 from Sioux Tribe. A little over 100,000, which, you know, they trade them in quicker than we do, but she knew they were what they call an orange title. Orange title. They know what they are, orange title vehicles. So she was aware of what we were talking about, and she said that, you know, they were worth between 5 and 7. So that's like anywhere between $10,000 and $14,000 that we could save. That's something she look at and trade them in.
You know, if they gave them $5,000 for a trade-in, I don't know what they're gonna do with it, because we can't get $500 for them.
Well, not on a,
You know?
on a paper bid you don't, but I mean a trade-in.
Yeah.
They're putting them on the lot for, she said anywhere from 8, in fact, they took, I think, 8 or 9 in on trade-in, they've got 3 left. So these cars are,
And I know certain people that specifically look for ex-police use vehicles.
Those are usually the people that we don't want to sell them to.
I'm not gonna argue that point with you, but they are looking for a specific kind of use out of a vehicle.
when I was
Alright.
18, I
In
wanted
fact,
to
some
know
of them
that.
are used as cabs, so cab companies are
Yeah,
definitely
that
looking
would be
for
good.
these kinds of vehicles. Not that we have many
The
of those.
Blues
around.
Brothers. All right. So,
Only if I get to be Elwood.
cop engine.
Oh, gosh.
Dating yourself, Scott.
Okay, so we do still have a motion before us. It's been supported. We've discussed it. We're ready to vote on it. Again, this motion is to rebid out the police vehicle in the manner described. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee also was asked to authorize a release of bids to be received on 2007 Dodge minivan with 113,062 miles. Sale will be as is. There seem to be some issues with the vehicle. It was then moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to release the 2007 Dodge minivan with 113,062 miles out on bids as is. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
If you can get $5,000 for that, Rudy, you and I need to go into business.
I'll work
together.
on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, motion made and supported to, what we're gonna do is try to see if anybody will buy that Dodge minivan.
Yeah.
Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote no. The motion carries. Back to you.
Committee then reviewed a request from the Sheriff's Department to, instead of sending an old vehicle out for bid or scrapping as in the past, which has resulted in no bids and having to send a vehicle to the scrapyard, receiving only $260. Sheriff's Office requesting 2009 Dodge Charger, Unit 1726, with the last four numbers of the VIN, 773, with approximately 165,000 miles, be donated as a goodwill gesture to Lake Superior State University for utilization of law enforcement training offered at LSSU. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to approve the transfer at no cost of a 2009 Dodge Charger, last four of VIN number 7703, approximately 165,000 miles, to Lake Superior State University to be used for law enforcement training. On a voice vote, the motion carried. I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion? Almost got it. Go ahead.
I just, like I said, and I told you all this before, I immediately thought, hey, it'd be nice for the senior. I think we're opening up a can of worms here. But as they say,
And I keep saying, why don't you give him the Dodge van? What's
I'm telling you, that thing's a classic.
yeah, it's a classic. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not giving a van to high school kids. I'm just not.
Don't worry, it isn't gonna go far.
They can only get in the back, though. That's the problem.
Okay, motion is before us. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries, 1 nay. Back to you.
Committee reviewed a similar request of the Sheriff's Department to provide a vehicle to Kinross Police Department via a donation or sale of the Sheriff's Office. Since the Sheriff's Office has 2007 Dodge Charger Unit 1730, and it will be rotated out of operation. It was then moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the transfer at no cost of a 2007 Dodge Charger, last four of the VIN number 0088, to Kinross Police Department to be used by law enforcement. On a voice vote, the motion carried.
Also move.
I would so move.
Motion made, supported. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries, 1 nay. This is about as contentious as we get.
That's all right.
That's okay. We can agree to disagree.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, oh, this is okay.
Don't ask for trouble, please.
All right.
Okay, approve release of RFP for cost allocation plan. The committee reviewed the cost allocation plan request for proposal to be released for a 3-year agreement to prepare the cost allocation plan for fiscal year 15, 16, and 17. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the release, the request for proposal for a 3-year agreement to prepare the cost allocation plan for fiscal years 2015, 2016, and 2017. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I would so support.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee previously received and reviewed the collective bargaining agreement between Chippewa County and International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 406, County Health Department Unit. Administrator German gave a brief summary, and the Board of Health has already approved the contract. It was therefore moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to approve an authorized signature of the collective bargaining agreement between Chippewa County and the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 406, County Health Department unit as presented and effective April 13th, 2015, and expiring March 31st, 2018. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported, is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. While you were talking there, I could hear the ship whistle. I don't know if anyone else noticed that we could hear the ship.
Yeah.
It's such a nice sound this time of year.
Spring, it
Yeah.
means spring is here. Policy 121, adding road commissioners to retirement health coverage elimination effective January 15th, 2017 from committee of 4/7/2015. The Building Grounds and Jail Legislative and Natural Resources and Information Technology Committee met on April 7th, 2015. Passed a motion to update County Policy 121, which would effectively eliminate those benefits which we eliminate from ourselves from the Chippewa County Road Commission. Discussion followed, and it was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Egan, to forward the changes to Policy 121 and to include eliminated retirement accrual and health coverage for County Road Commission board members effective January 15th, 2017 to the full board, and seek legal counsel opinion on that matter. On a voice vote, the motion carried. I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported, is there discussion?
Yep.
Administrator German?
I did seek legal counsel. Commissioner Shackleton has a brief synopsis of that up there. We were informed by Mr. Canello, he didn't have a lot of time this weekend as he was working on other things, but his opinion was that the county commission basically gives it, it can take it away. He doesn't quite understand the process by how the state operates in a corporate council board like that, but it was his opinion that that was well within the rights of the commission.
I'd just add that historically, from what I'm familiar with, is that the County Road Commission compensation has mirrored the Chippewa County Board compensation. So I think this is appropriate that we take this action to even them up. Commissioner Martin?
Did he say anything about, because I think the thing we discussed was, well, what if their term is until 2019 or something like that?
Didn't we say because it's an appointment and not an elected term, that it's probably not
That was
at issue?
That was the path that he was leading me down.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was also working on law enforcement stuff, as I shall say.
You know, and I would add to that, if it turns out that somehow we get a different interpretation of that, this is still probably the right path to go, because it would just stay in place until next time it can be withdrawn. So, I think we're okay with that. Motion is before us. Any further discussion? Commissioner McLean?
Just want to mention that the institution date or the starting date for that is 2017.
Yeah.
So people will know well ahead of time.
Right.
This is coming up the pike.
Yep. All right, all in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Commissioner per diem to include maximum of 4 monthly township meetings from committee 4/7/2015. Building Grounds and Legislative, Natural Resource Information met in April and passed a motion to start including the payment of up to 4 township board meetings as eligible per diems for Chippewa County Board of Commissioners. Discussion followed. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Shackleton to table the item. No action was taken. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
We don't need to take a motion on it. It was tabled at that time, so it just stays tabled.
Okay. Claims and accounts. Committee reviewed the bills and payroll presented for approval. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to recommend the approval of March bills and payroll as follow. The general claims totaling $278,508.13. Other fund claims, $334,620.91. Payroll of $456,794.68. And health department claims of $456,898.07. For a total claims amount of $1,526,822.79. And vouchers H1 through H321. On a voice vote, the motion carried. I would so move.
I support.
Motion made to pay the claims, and it was supported. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote no. and the motion is carried.
During comments, I brought up the issue of public notices and requirements for publishing, movement afoot at the state level to make those things obsolete, and going to, I guess, a government website to see your public notices, bids, stuff like that. If we think we're not getting bids now, wait till that happens, my opinion. And we'll, after that, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to adjourn the meeting. I adjourn the meeting at 7:25 p.m. I would so move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Very good.
I'll support.
Motion made to accept the minutes of the Finance Claims and Accounts Committee, that meeting being April 9th, 2015. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to Commissioner report on meetings as board representative and general comments. And Commissioner Johnson, I understand you wanted to make a little presentation or something here?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm gonna.
Not a bit.
Here's the front.
Yeah, go ahead. You waited quite a while, so now's your chance.
This is my big opportunity.
I meant for them having to wait.
Oh. About 18 years ago, I got this idea to clean up our national forest. So we called it Hiawatha National Forest Cleanup. Done it for 18, and this will be our 18th year, and it's amazing what we've accomplished with a whole bunch of good people. First year we had 5 or 10. We had a high water mark of like 56 people at one gathering in Rayco. We had bear hunters, deer hunters, the minister, probably a handful of sinners. And that year,
Hey, senators or senators?
well, maybe no senators. But we have had state reps there. We've had, Gary McDowell. What was the last one that took Gary's place?
Frank?
Frank, he was there, yeah. We're gonna see how Chatfield does. And, but we moved to Rayco, I think about the 4th or 5th year, and we would have pickups lined up bringing in garbage out of the forest. So we moved to Rayco, and early morning, the preacher says there's a little prayer for us to make everybody safe, and a couple of pickups pull in. And here was a grandma and a grandpa, a mom and a dad, and 2 little tow-headed girls. And we picked up quite a few volunteers. Well, the people that pulled in was Grandma and Grandpa Timmer, Dick and Julie Timmer, Julie and Ricky Timmer. They were just little. And they made load after load, and they're getting dirty. And I thought, how much garbage can you have in your yard? But seriously, they were bringing it out of the forest, and they've been very dedicated for years. And I thought that what we passed out is a prestigious White Hat Award. And it's kind of a little thing that you get recognition for being there. And it's very important to me.
Want him to come on up?
Pardon me?
Want to have him come up with you?
Yes, Ricky. Ricky Timber. This is the young lady that showed up when she's about that tall. And we started originally, I think, with a white cap, right? Yeah. And then we went to the hard hat, and I messed up and didn't give her. She's been out there like for years. I don't know if you missed a few years going to school, I guess. And I guess at one time I was going to do it, put it on my list, and Dick, somebody mentioned to me, said, those girls. I said, well, I thought they did get one, and I really did. But my mistake, my bad. I'm here to make it up to you.
All right.
Here's your hat, and here's this is a thing that the Forest Service makes up. And I just noticed on the way in here tonight that it says Clean Forest 2013. If that isn't typical
Come on,
Forest
you
Service.
go.
It was clean back then.
This is her big sister. This here says, the UP's Clean Forest Coalition presents the prestigious White Hat Award to Ricky Timmer for hard work and continued support for cleaning up the forest of the eastern UP. Thank you for a job well done and for a person that continuously goes the extra mile and genuinely cares about our forest.
All right.
Thank you very much, young lady. Shake again, shake slowly.
Oh,
All right, you turn a little towards her.
Yeah.
Don't look so stunned.
trust me, us new commissioners come by that stub look on us.
Perfect, one of them ought to look good.
One of them,
Ricky,
okay.
all right.
All right.
Did you photobomb that,
All
Commissioner
right,
Shackleton?
thank you, Ricky.
I tried to keep an appropriate look and demeanor.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
May I also add that, Ms. Timmer was actually at one time an intern in the Chippewa County Administrator's Office. And we're very proud of her and, very proud of how she has succeeded, and, we still miss her there today.
And those Timmer ladies are all fine golfers.
We'll be there soon.
Guy, can't wait.
Waiting for you to open.
It's not gonna be long now. It's going quickly. Okay, anything else under Commissioner report, on meetings and board representative, general comments? Commissioner McLean.
I did already mention about the Headley situation with tax dollars. The other thing, one of the other meetings that I went to, one on Veterans Affairs, Veterans Services. And I came back with some information relative to what other counties are doing, what the state has in mind, and I think that's I believe one of our goals was to look at that. So I got additional information and I'll share that at the appropriate time with the rest of the commission.
Anyone else? Anybody care to make a motion for that A word?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support?
Support? Nobody wants to leave. Motion made and supported to adjourn. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Do you wanna keep this, gentleman?
Make a fair vote anyway.
Yeah.
Nobody's swearing in?
Long drive,
That's right.
so get-